Now we're going to focus on the Hoosier Cabinet. And the reason why I love the Hoosier Cabinet is basically because I am a forgotten technology geek, and this cabinet is actually invented technology. Before it existed, there was no system in an American kitchen. It was all helter-skelter. Everybody did their kitchen differently. When this came along, it revolutionized the kitchen environment and freed up women's time. The other reason why I love the Hoosier Cabinet is because of the person behind the history, and that is Harriet Beecher Stowe. She's well known for writing Uncle Tom's Cabin, but nobody knows about her involvement in this. She and her sister Catherine were both very close. Catherine was married to an industrialist who owned a factory, and it was the rage in the mid to late 1800s to make your factory much more time efficient. Occasionally during dinners, he would have those experts over. Catherine and Harriet were there. They overheard this stuff. They realized that the American kitchen had no system, and it needed a system, just like the factories needed a system. So they finally got her husband and his colleagues to look at a kitchen and to figure out that, yes, indeed, there was a huge need there, nothing existed, and basically it came down to this, the Hoosier Cabinet. This book right here is a fantastic book it's about Hoosier cabinets, but believe it or not, it is a historical page turner. It's incredibly well written by the author Nancy Hiller. She was a master cabinet maker in Bloomington, Indiana. She was famous, she was known all over the world for her incredible craftsmanship, and I highly recommend this book. Let me read from Nancy's book to give you a very clear sense about what the Hoosier Cabinet was all about. It was a culinary workstation that allowed the owners to maintain an efficient and clutter-free kitchen by centralizing utensils, cookware, tools, and ingredients, while providing a space in which to prepare the meals of the day. That was it. That all didn't exist before they invented this cabinet. So now we'll open this thing up and show you the system, the different components of the system. First of all, kind of most important of all, is in almost all Hoosier cabinets, they had at least one flour hopper, sometimes two. And the flour hopper, well, is huge. Look at it. Okay, here's a 5-pound bag of flour. We take this out. You can see this thing will fit at least 20 pounds of flour. Why? Because back when this was invented, the woman of the house was in the kitchen basically from morning until late at night, cooking 3 meals a day. You had to have a lot of flour. So you wanted to keep it safe from bugs and rodents and stuff. So this thing, you just open it up, get your, 50-pound sack of flour, pour it in here. I'm just gonna put it in there. And there you go. And if you need flour, then you just turn the little crank handle and it sifts the flour, pours it into the cup, and you'd pour it into your bowl. So there you go. Then on this side, we have general storage for cookbooks, ingredients, here's cookware, cooking utensils, etc. There, of course, is our Happy Bird. We'll wake them up later. Also right here, you can see there's a little holder for a cookbook. So let's say, now let's just grab this. There you go, and hands-free, you've got your cookbook that you can read the recipe while you're cooking, and it's not taking up any space on the surface. Again, just general storage right here. This part has a very nice feature. this little rolling cabinet so that if you want to neaten things up, you can just hide all your mess back there. I like to keep my bowls in that place. I rarely put that down. First of all, right below the cooktop are a couple of drawers, just very shallow drawers in order to keep various things. And then there's this large compartment. This, I think, was basically made to keep tablecloths, napkins, linens, etc. It's got a really neat feature, so instead of just having to dig around in there and try to find stuff, it actually slides out. So you can look at it from the top, the sides, etc. Much more accessible. The top shelf does the same sort of thing, pulling out for maximum visibility. Then look at this. It's got a cutting board stored right there. Just pull it out. Work on it up here when you have to, and when you're done with it, stores conveniently out of the way. Then it's got a little wire cage right here for other stuff. Very efficient way of storing items. On this side, on the right side, we've got two more shallow drawers. This one I like to keep for all my little pie making tools. Few other things in there. This, again, on most Hoosier cabinets, they featured a tin box drawer that's also got a sliding top that makes this very sealed, especially against mice. So if you got baked goods, you know, your bread, biscuits, whatever that you're keeping throughout the day, you put it in here and it stays safe from the critters. Right now, I use it to keep all my different vintage cooking aprons. Finally, there's the work surface. So remember that part of the concept of a Hoosier cabinet is it makes a space really efficient. And with the work surface, when you're not using it, it stows away. And so therefore, the entire cabinet takes up very little space. And kitchens were really small back then. That was really important. However, when you wanted to start working on the cabinet, look at this. The work surface pulls out, giving you almost double the room to work on. And I'll show you how I use the surface, usually for making pies. I have a pastry cloth right here, a pastry frame. And while it wasn't, of course, part of the Hoosier cabinet, these were very popular back then. Almost everybody used a pastry cloth, but the problem with the pastry cloth is that it would slide around when you were working on it. You didn't, or just the bare surface of this. If you were doing a pie crust on it, things would slide around. A pastry cloth with a pastry frame actually gives you control of that, because you could just lean your body against the frame, roll out your dough, and it doesn't roll around. It stays where you want it, okay? So I'll just put that away. And we'll go ahead and close things up. And that's all the beauty in the components and compartments of a Hoosier cabinet. Cool, huh?